Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I want to thank everybody for joining us for the program today. And just in case you're sleeping under a rock, today is National Yo-Yo Day. So happy National Yo-Yo Day to everyone. I don't know how you could not celebrate National Yo-Yo Day.
Even know that it was Yo-Yo
National
Day.
Yo-Yo Day. So to give you a little background on yo-yos, if it seems like your yo-yo has been around forever, that's because they have. We're talking over 2,000 years. Some believe it all started in ancient Greece, but modern yo-yos likely came from the Philippines. In fact, the word yo-yo first appeared in a Filipino dictionary in 1860, but they didn't become popular stateside until the 1930s. Pedro Flores, of Filipino descent, began mass producing yo-yos in 1928. After holding some promotional competitions, he caught the eye of Donald F. Duncan Sr., who thought these yo-yo things were awesome. Duncan bought Flores out, hired him to run the marketing campaign, and the rest is National Yo-Yo Day history.
Well, those Duncans were they can be pretty expensive.
Yeah, remember Duncan yo-yos. Duncan yo-yos.
Yeah.
And actually the word yo-yo comes from a Filipino word. I think, what is it? I'm trying to forget I forgot their native tongue, which it says yo, which means come and go. Come and go.
You ever?
Yeah, sure did.
Dilly-dally with the yo-yo?
I sure did. And let's go back, y'all. Y'all remember the spinning tops?
Yeah.
Remember, did you have those? Yeah. I remember you wind those bad boys up and you be spiking, try to take, and you see, man, my tops were so dented from people just spiking on them.
Seriously though, Michelle, did you ever play with a yo-yo at all? And did you have one?
Did you have one?
Are you talking about this yo-yo again?
It's National Yo-Yo Day, Michelle.
He just gave the whole history of the yo-yo and the whole nine.
It's National Yo-Yo Day.
Are you serious?
It is National Yo-Yo Day.
No. I don't care about it being National Yo-Yo Day.
Maybe it was a guy
use
thing.
valuable radio time to talk about the history of the yo-yo.
For some people, the yo-yo is very important.
Yeah, man, I used to, yeah. You know, they had little tricks, walking the dog. And
this is such a sad
walking
day.
the dog.
Walking the dog.
God. This is a sad day.
Yeah.
This is a sad day for talk
National
radio.
Yo-Yo Day. You never had a yo-yo?
She's lost for words. That's the first time I've seen her lost for words.
If she checks the yes box, that drop box comes in. Oh, you did?
No,
what kind did you
I
have?
want to curse, but I can't. So I'm just like screaming in my head right now. I'm not being silent. I'm screaming in my head.
Did they play the tops? You know, where you had the thing, you wind it up and you throw it out.
What kind of old-fashioned 1950s game is that?
Spinning tops.
No.
Wow. Tops is up there with marbles.
No, I don't know nothing about tops.
Marbles?
What kind of toys did you have, Michelle? If you didn't do yo-yos, did you do jacks?
Everybody did jacks.
Well, I just was wondering, you know.
I just wanted some jacks the other day.
You do yo-yo. You do hula hoop?
The kazoo.
Yeah, the kazoo.
Kazoo.
Stop.
It's Throwback Thursday, so did you?
Okay.
Did you do
in
hula hoop?
In the spirit of Throwback Thursday.
Did you do the hula hoop?
Of course I did the hula hoop. Of course I did it.
What was them things called? The click-clackers.
Click-clacks was the bomb.
I hate those.
They were dangerous, though.
But your eye. You put your eye out. But the click-clackers was the bomb.
Yeah.
And what was the thing with the paddle and the ball?
Yeah, I don't remember what. It was
Paddle
paddling
the
ball.
ball.
But you was. Well, I'm gonna tell you. I was going down a rabbit hole one night on TikTok, and they show the sisters that's over 40 that do double dutch in Chicago.
Mhm.
Man, them the baddest things moving. Do you hear me? Them sisters. I mean, and some of them like thick, and they
Meet me at the train. I'll be on time.
my
Meet me at the
God.
train. I'll be at
It is so because you remember Michelle Obama was doing double dutch.
Yeah.
And it just is so cool. I'm like, I never could do it. I never.
As a matter of fact, my boy did a song. Remember? Double Dutch
Double
Bus?
Double Dutch bus coming
I never
down
could do double
the
dutch. I would always get my feet tangled.
You
up.
could do double
I never
Dutch?
did double
Oh,
Dutch.
man.
good.
You saw, man. Boy, that was a thing, man. They'd have that whole circle.
Michelle Obama looked so smooth doing it. And her big old tall self,
But
too.
you couldn't be a dude doing it, though.
Oh, no. It was dudes.
I know dudes could do it.
It was dudes that was doing
But
it.
it was
Yeah,
kind
but
of
not
frowned
when
on
we-
in
No,
our
it
neighborhood. The
didn't-
dudes
it
that
didn't-
do
it
it.
didn't look gay.
No, you
It
didn't.
didn't look gay. They was doing
It
it.
didn't look gay.
I know what you're saying. That's
It's
what
not
you're saying.
gay.
That's what you're
Look,
saying.
Back in that time, you
Uh,
just couldn't do that.
Uh,
You better be somewhere with two cans,
Well, okay,
playing
we have to
cans or
admit
something.
we've progressed since it's Throwback Thursday of how we talk about gay. Because back in the day, anything that looked feminine, people say that's so gay. And so now
And that was a term
it's changed.
that really came out, I think, in the early 2000s, maybe.
Oh, they still use it like that?
I don't
That's
know.
so
I
gay?
know my pastor didn't use that word.
Your pastor didn't use gay?
Let's not
Why would
use
he
the
be
word
using it
used.
anyway? What,
You know what word
I
he
know
used?
what word he probably used.
the F word?
No,
What word?
it's an S.
The S.
Oh, sissy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sissy punk.
yeah.
They use the two together.
No, my pastor
Yeah,
didn't.
some people do.
Mm.
He just used that
So
one.
again-
Well, so we progressed.
Yeah, so
Thank
thank
you,
you
Lord.
for National Yo-Yo Day. Someone
That's
just
connected.
texted me marbles.
Marbles,
Now, this
yeah.
game that they
Marbles
played
was-
over
was-
in Keon's neighborhood and other neighborhoods, I don't remember us playing cans. I don't
Oh
remember.
yeah, that's what I was
Kick
just
the
talking about. No,
No,
cans.
It's a different
What's
game.
cans?
You take 2 soda cans. You get one. You get one. One person stands. You usually have about 3 city squares. Like the little concrete squares.
Mhm.
So I shoot at your can. You
Oh,
shoot
with
at
the
my
basketball.
Can. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I
That's
see
cans. That's all.
Yeah, I see
That's
them.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
see
we
them.
played that.
Yeah, see, I ain't play all these poverty games. I understand.
Wow.
I
Poverty
So
game.
bougie,
Yeah.
but I'm
So
bougie.
did you play higher and higher?
I was in the house with my easy bake oven. I was not outside.
Did you
had
play
to
higher
use
and
that-
higher?
What?
Higher and higher.
What is that?
Well, 2 people hold the rope
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
you jump.
You jump over
and
you
it
keep
raise
raising
up.
it, and you
Like
raise
the
it.
keep
reverse of limbo?
Yep.
Limbo?
Mhm.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
It would put you in the
Oh my
mind
God,
of, I
the
guess.
name is even hood. Higher and higher.
Yeah, because the rope keeps going higher and higher until the person
Nobody can jump.
you can't touch
Just
the
like
rope
high
when you
jump.
jump. So the first person that touches that rope when they
I have
jump
never
loses.
heard of that. This is reverse limbo.
Yeah.
I never heard of
Because
it.
instead of going under, we're
Yeah,
going
go
over.
over.
Yeah.
I like that though.
You play four square.
That sounds familiar. What was it?
4 squares. Well, the way we played it, you be in the box and you're supposed to hit the ball to each other. If you miss it, you're out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
That
talking
was
about
like
hot
formal-
potato?
Yeah, but it'd be in the 4 squares.
But
And
that was
then-
like at school. I think I remember that being
Oh,
more
we would
formal.
draw. They would.
Y'all did it at y'all.
They would draw.
But maybe hopscotch.
Hopscotch. They would draw their own hopscotch.
We was some beasts at hopscotch now.
But
I play hopscotch.
I'm
today.
thinking hot potato. Wasn't that similar to what you're talking about?
What?
Because you can't let it drop. First person to
Oh
let
no,
it drop
you
is
just
out.
hit it. Right. You can't let it hit once. You get one bounce.
So did nobody just play tennis?
I did play tennis.
Well, let me thank Bob Rush.
Yes.
Bob Rush over at Our Avenue back in the day.
Mhm.
He did. He taught me how to play tennis.
But you know what? And I'm teasing, but I do appreciate, like, number one, these games. Because I look at my nephews, I think about kids all the time. Like, they be on their computer 24/7.
Yeah, they wouldn't even understand.
Side
They wouldn't even
of
understand the
going
level
outside
of
to play and
entertainment we
and
got from
even
those games.
this, but the skill sets that you got
Mhm.
too. You know, because it took something to do some hopscotch and marbles when you shooting
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it just took something,
And-
a different skill set.
In recreation, MPS recreation, there was 3 types of games. You had high organized games, which would be the leagues, basketball, volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
Low organized games, hopscotch, 4 square, tetherball.
Now that
I never really played that.
We didn't have a lot of tether balls because people would steal the balls. You know,
'Cause that's
tetherball
at
when
the
you hit
chain.
it, right? You hit
Yeah.
it and it circles around. You hit it back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
Um,
just looked dangerous.
and why
know
did
that.
I even dodgeball? How did I forget dodgeball?
yeah, dodgeball.
I hated dodgeball.
And then the
You
last,
get hit wrong, boy.
Yeah,
We're to
that's
break you down.
Yeah,
and then there was this thing called free play. And free play was basically what we did. You come up with imagination like games.
Just do your thing.
Did y'all play Captain May I?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody play Captain Mayor.
Captain May I?
I bet this guy on the phone got a old game for us.
Listen, you know, Captain May I was your listening skills.
Captain May I, yeah.
Captain May I. And then, the other one was Simon Said.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we did
yeah.
red light, green light.
Red light, green light, stop.
I just played literally. So maybe I don't know how many 4th of July's ago, but over at the country club, we went to the country club for 4th of July for the fireworks. And so I had the boys, Khalil and Cam was in town. And so we was playing red light, green light. And people was like watching, like, what are they doing? And so other kids later was like, I want to play. And like it was adults coming over to me like, next year, we all playing red light, green light. It was that much fun.
Yeah, I mean,
I bet you Carvey doesn't know anything about any of the
You know
games
red
we're
light, green
talking
light,
about.
Carvey.
Well,
You
you
are.
are.
He
Is that
went-
we
he
think
went-
you are.
He
You
put it
are.
in air quotes.
So
You just got
young.
old people around you.
So
Bro.
you know all of the games that we mentioned, Carvey?
Yeah, they all. Yeah.
He said the same games that we played got passed down to the next
Now
generation.
here's one I got.
So you know red light, green light. You know
Captain
four
May I?
square and skating.
What about Captain May I?
Captain May I? Right. And you have to wait until Captain says yes or no.
Well, you just saying that because you got home training. You've been
yeah,
around
yeah,
some good
so.
people.
All right, caller. Oh man, they're blowing up my.
What
Let's
the
see.
memories? Back down memory
Someone said
lane.
that Michelle was obviously
A whoopee
deprived
cushion.
as a child when it comes to games played with friends on the block.
Who said that? Oh, I wasn't deprived.
She doesn't play well with others.
She
I
doesn't
bet
play
that-
well with others.
In the progress report, she does not do well with
Let's be
others.
clear. My mama sent me to camp. I was at camp. I just went out in the streets all wild. Now my brother knew all of that. My brother did all of that. I was the oldest. I was in the house cleaning up while everybody was outside kicking.
Hide and go seek though.
Yeah, that one.
That one would turn into we talking blocks.
You,
talking blocks.
you could get the whole neighborhood.
The
in
whole
hiding.
neighborhood.
And
you
then
know,
people mamas would be mad because we'd be hiding in they
Right.
flower bushes and
Oh,
stuff.
man.
Get out my roses. You'd be like,
They done figured out all the high places, and now I got to move over another block. And before you know it, I lived on 5th Street, up on 13th Street. We played hide and go
We
seek.
never did find Keith.
You never found Keith. You
I
ran
remember my
away from
granddaddy
home.
telling my brother, "Fool, don't you hide under that car no more." Carvey said one time they were playing hide and seek. The game was over and you left your little brother because you you couldn't find
Couldn't
him.
find him, so they left him.
Your daddy
Your
was
daddy
with you,
left?
Wow.
and you
It's not a great endorsement
and
for
went
you,
home and
Dad.
told your mama. Where is Jamonte?
Did y'all ever find him?
I know. No, he said Carvey said his daddy and him and all the other people left his little brother at the park and then drives away. And somebody say, "Where is he?" And he was still hiding when they went back to the. Well, your mama would have killed.
I wish I
y'all.
would have came home without Gary.
Come on.
I
man.
wish I would have came home without Gary. My
No,
mother's only child.
no.
Where's Gary? We was playing hide and go seek. We can't find him.
Let me be
And you know, my mother said, "You better get your blank out there and find them."
Let me be clear. I could have came home without my brother. My mom would have been like, "I know.
Duh.
I'll go look for him.
Maybe
I
Fran,
know."
maybe Francine, but not Gary.
No,
Oh, no,
my
I better
mother
come
would have
home with
completely
Gary.
understood if I came home without her
Yeah.
son.
And because we were only 3 years apart, that means we could spend a lot of time together. You know,
You
you had
and
me
Gary.
and Gary.
Right.
You know, because sometimes you
Gary's
know,
just way cooler than you, though.
well, he might be, but
He's way cooler.
man, I wish I would
What
come home
happened?
without my mother's only child. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
No,
Dillman.
you know, when we were middle, till we got to middle school, I did all the tops, yo-yos, hula hoop, as soon as you got to middle school, we didn't play hide and go seek. We played hide and go get it.
That's right. That's right.
That's
I didn't want to
right.
bring
That
that
sounds
up.
inappropriate.
I didn't want to bring that
That
up.
sounds
Teenage
inappropriate.
days, spin the bottle.
Yeah, and you could get in trouble. The only problem is if you wasn't the one they wanted, don't find them. Because
Yeah.
they tell you to get the heck out of Dodge.
That
I'm
sounds
waiting for Jimmy or somebody.
Well, we came up with a team tag game. I don't know who developed it, called Pom Pom. And
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah,
remember?
that's
Yeah, you
still
remember
in-
Pom Pom? Yeah, that's an
Pom-Pom.
age thing. I think by the time Debo came on, they weren't playing it. But Pom Pom was team tag.
How old is Debo? What you mean by the time he came along? How old are you?
29.
Dream on.
I'm gonna tell you. And let me tell you something that was really unique about Milwaukee, and I didn't see this until I got to Oliver Wendell Holmes. Tyrone, do you remember the playgrounds? We had boys' playground and girls' playground.
What?
Yeah, the Franklin Square was split up. There
Yeah.
was
Are you
one part, the
serious?
boys had the
Boys had
football
a
and the
playground at
baseball,
Burger. The
and
girls had a
girls
playground, and
now you could slip in and try to get a little double dutchy in depending on who you like,
yeah, okay.
but don't get caught.
I wish I would have got caught over
Y'all
the girls'
had
playground.
segregated playgrounds.
We had segregated playgrounds, and it wasn't until they started. But I remember going to Holmes, and Holmes couldn't do the segregated. It was just one big playground. That's the first time I ever played with girls on recess.
What kind of sexist
Yeah,
foolishness is
That was
this?
Milwaukee.
We would do
You
it
have
in
to
the,
remember we had a high teenage pregnancy rate.
in the
That's
winter
it.
time. We would
No,
play.
I'm
would
trying
play,
to justify it.
Hey, Keith. In the winter time, we played tackle pom pom.
Yep.
Tackle pom pom in the snow.
Tackle
Everybody thought it was.
Yeah, that's right. We did.
Kind of
And
game
then
is
because
this?
Milwaukee, black people ice skated back in the day in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
We used to play down at Garfield Park. We used to play Dungeon. And,
I only ice skated once.
oh,
on
man.
Franklin Square, I fell and hit my head. That was it for that.
Once we saw the girls was at the skating rink, my mama gave me ice skates every Christmas.
You know, a lot of
Every
people,
Christmas.
when you start talking about Garfield Park, man, and we know it as Clinton Rose currently, but I mean, just to think of the layout of that park, man, and how it has changed. I remember going up top and looking out across the park, and
The old
It's just-
pavilion.
just
yeah.
different, just different, man.
I just
Oh,
want to
yeah.
say I did not know I was getting text messages. National Yo-Yo Day, 2 exclamation points. Duncan White glow in the dark,
Oh yeah.
and the glitter one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know.
But
I
spinning
didn't-
tops.
Thank you, Ladette.
Spinning tops was, man, you paint
the
up the
game,
top. I mean, it would be like you sharpen the point.
Mm.
You know, 'cause-
Decorated them.
right? You decorated because the
What?
whole
That thing
you
spin
gotta
all
knock
day.
the
You
top-
could-
gotta
you
knock
could-
the
you
open
could-
top out.
You could tear somebody's top up if
Oh
you was
man,
good.
you winded up at bam, just take them out.
Yeah, I missed that whole.
Well, of
Hey,
course, because
and then we got to high school, and then you'd be on Brown Street Playground somewhere where they had the dice game, and the police would pull up at the dice game, run everybody off, and they pick up all the money.
Well, now it is Lucille Berrien Park, but back in the day it was Lindbergh Park, right abutted Parkman. And man, they played a game. I'm gonna show you if you old school, if you remember this game. Anybody remember 4-5-6?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
4-5-6, man. That's the 3 dice game. You had, and they were playing more 4-5-6 than they were regular dice.
Somebody sent me something Chinese chase. Have y'all heard of that before? That
Well,
sounds racist.
I was going to say that might be.
I don't know.
I've heard
I
of
don't know.
I
Chinese
don't know.
checkers. I don't know about Chinese.
I
Maybe
still
they
haven't figured out Chinese checkers.
no. All right.
Yeah, they hadn't come to the community yet.
Yeah, they said 2 square pom tackle. They had that, but yeah, Chinese chase.
Well, I think the thing
Maybe
was, and I'm gonna say this, and because I believe this, and you all can call and tell me if I'm wrong. Had we had the technology that young people have today, one of the reasons why we were on the sidewalk was because we didn't have a whole lot in the house. You know what I mean? I mean, the things you could do, books maybe, right? But you didn't have. And if you were really,
But we had my mama just
you had-
wanted us out the house. She wanted us outside. She needed a break.
and
Don't sit up in her house all day. Go outside, get some sun. Like they valued us being outside. That's the way at least it
Well,
was in our house.
my mama valued you being outside until she put you on punishment. She didn't care if it was 90 degrees. You'd be sitting in the house while all your friends was playing.
And wait a minute, because we didn't have air conditioning, so every window's open in the house.
Every window
So you
was
hearing everything that's going on in the streets, right?
What kind of
Yeah.
oppressive conditions?
Hey.
My friend come up to the house and say, "Can Tyrone come out?" She said, "No, he on punishment. You just can hear him out there."
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on,
It just
Tyrone.
melt when they do
Tyrone,
that.
you just got a beat down. I wish I would go to Debo. Hey, Debo, come over and ask my mama, can I come out? And Debo come over and he'll go, Miss Parris, can Keith come out? And she'll go, no, Darren. She'd be very nice. No, Darren, he won't. And as soon as Darren is gone, she wear me out. You done had this little come over here and ask you can get out of the blah, blah, blah.
I know you put him up to
I
it.
know you did it. I know you did it.
Oh my God!
And
this
my
boy
mother be so
sour
nice.
juice.
She'd be so nice to Darren. Oh no, honey, he can't come out.
No, baby,
He can't come out today. No. As a matter of fact, me and him gonna talk right now. So maybe you come back tomorrow, but no, he ain't coming out today.
Child abuse,
Oh,
man.
my mama sent my brother to get me to come home and eat dinner, and I blew him off and said, "Man, I'll be there when I want to."
Uh-oh.
I didn't come. All of a sudden, we playing on the corner, we talking stuff. They said, "Hey, man, ain't that your mama?" And my mama coming down the street with a belt in her hand.
Nah,
Here come your mama.
I
I had to beat my mama home.
we was at the skating rink, and my mama had told us, she said that y'all know I gotta go to work, so come on out of there. I'll be there at like 8:30. That's too early. You know, skating don't get good
That's early,
to
yeah.
8:30, 9 o'clock. So I was like that. We ain't come out. So my mama, you know, we ain't had no cell phones back then. So my mom was like, "Okay, y'all ain't gonna come out." My mama had on her house coat. She had rollers in her hair. And she had her slides on. Mozella came up in the skating rink, went to the DJ booth, and took the mic from the DJ man and said, "Poochie and Bruce."
Poochie and Bruce.
We was like, oh my God. My friends was dying. And you could see through her house coat in the lights when she walked across the floor. Thank God she had a decent body. But I was like, are you kidding me right now, lady? My mama came up in the skate rink with her house coat
I
on.
don't know what comedian was talking about when your mama came up there with the coat with no buttons on
Yeah.
it.
Just like, come on, fam.
She went for
Like-
all your friends. Oh, let my mama come get you.
No, my mother so scarred me. I made sure I never went crazy to my son's
Oh
school.
man.
Because you just can't recover.
And I hate to put, Francine out on blast, but we're coming up on Juneteenth. So me and my buddy, we down to Juneteenth. It must have been about 10 o'clock. And I'll never forget, we walking up Center Street because Juneteenth used to go from
Juneteenth
Center
used to go to
North.
10 o'clock?
To North Avenue.
Yeah.
Juneteenth used to go
Yeah.
to midnight.
Yeah, you used to go to midnight.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
it's like 10 o'clock. I'm leaving. I see Francine.
Then it was Center North Avenue
Center
to Center.
to North, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm getting on Center, so I go home. Me and my buddy, we see Francine and Darlene. Hey, what's happening? What y'all doing? So we gonna go home. So I get to the house, and my mother, I don't know where mom was, or I came in and mom goes, "Where's Francine?" I said, "Well, I saw her at Juneteenth with Darlene." So she said, you need to go down there and get her. So I got in the yellow Chevette, went down, couldn't find
Not the
Francine.
Chevette.
I get back to the house. I said, Mom, I can't find her. So Mom gets in the yellow Chevette going down looking for her. But by this time, Francine got home. So Francine running all these lies by me. I say what you want to say.
I remember when you used to practice. You used to practice the lie.
I'm gonna tell her this.
And this
She
might have
gonna say
worked had she not got in the car going looking for you. Because when your mama come looking for you,
It's over.
you done went to DEFCON 3.
It's over now.
It's over. You cancel
Nothing
Christmas.
you can tell me.
Yeah.
Hey.
So man, so
My
don't ever
mama-
have your mama come have to get you.
My
She come
mama-
up to the
my mama-
playground.
My mama got slick. she told me to do something, and I got a little teenager. I got that little. I don't need to do that and stuff. So I came home, and all my clothes was in 2 bags out on the sidewalk.
Ty, come on, Ty.
She said, "You smart now. You can take your F and you can get the hell out of here." I had to cry my way back in the house. I didn't know where to go.
Wow.
I told the story about the time my mama, because growing up, unlike maybe now, but growing up, the last thing you ever wanted to do was go to detention center or go to Wales. I mean, that was just, those were detention center was, out children's court. And then Wells was the boys' school out in Wells, Wisconsin.
I mean, but you only went there if you did something bad, right?
So but you didn't want to go to Wells.
Okay.
You certainly didn't want to go to DT. So my mother, one day, she's going to whoop me for something, man. I'm really talking crazy to my mother. I must have said something to hurt her feelings, because my mother said, okay, I'm not going to whoop you. I'm going to send your blank to DT in the morning. I'd have beat the whooping. So my mother walks out. Gary's room was between my room and her room. And I could hear my mama walking on the linoleum floor. My mother walked real fast. Then I hear it stop. And I hear it coming back to me. My mother said, "Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to beat your butt ass tonight. And then I'm sending you to the home in the morning." Wait a minute. When I got up that morning, she said, "You still want to go to the detention center?" I'm like, "No, you whooped me last night. That's off the table now. It's been adjudicated."
It's one or the other, Mama Cliffy.
Appreciate you, team. You listen to Community Voice.
Take care.
All right, you listen to Community Voice. We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back. you just strike out. I mean, you up swinging.
Swinging at what?
The baseball.
I don't. Keith, you lost me. So
Yeah.
somebody throwing you the ball.
Right. You up against the wall, and they would create the strike zone.
Mhm.
Okay. And so it's just basically batting, but it's you and one person because you didn't have enough people.
So
to
if
play.
you miss, that's when you out, and then the next person comes up. I don't think we called it that.
Yeah, but it was kind of because
Right,
a lot
right.
of places would put up, you can't play that, right?
Mhm.
Because the damage it was doing to the wall.
Hey, wait. There was something I wanted to ask you. Never mind. Go ahead. Let's go with the call.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my stomach hurts from laughing so hard, especially when Michelle stopped. Y'all,
Yeah,
Lord Jesus, y'all got me. I had to stop and breathe. Oh.
That's why descendants of enslaved African people are in spite of people. In spite of not having some things, we made some things, right? You just
Yeah,
going
we
like,
did.
ooh. And then the amazing thing was in this city, everybody on the blocks were pretty much playing the same games.
Okay. And
But I think that has a
then,
lot to do with and for a long time, Milwaukee Public Schools recreation was the
Yeah.
model,
It
for
was. And
recreation. And we
Denver,
learned a
too.
lot. We learned a
And
lot
then-
in rec.
And in Denver too, we had the ringers. Remember the ringers?
Yeah.
Where you go from one ring to the other
To
one.
the other one.
We had four square, like you said, on school. We had rope climbing inside of the gym. And
Well,
all
it
that.
sounds like you're old enough maybe to remember
Oh,
Garfield Park. And I'm not gonna
go.
call it Rose because these things don't exist at Rose Park. But
Right.
at Garfield Park, man, they used to have a merry-go-round.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how many kids got hurt on that merry-go-round because
Right.
they would have it at high speeds and the number of kids flying off that merry-go-round. And then they had the most unstable monkey bars ever known.
Right.
You get on that thing, be shaking and moving, and you got 4 or 5 kids on there, and it's shaking and moving. I'm surprised it never fell.
Correct. And now, well, the thing is they never had sand back then.
That's right.
They
It's
supposed to have
concrete.
Sand. That number of concrete. Mama said,
Concrete.
"Where you get that? Where you get that?" And one of my favorite games was Old Lady Wish. What time is it? I don't know if y'all remember that one.
Old lady, what time is it?
Yeah, we had this one in Denver, right?
Okay.
And so she would be the one in the front and have a whole bunch of something like that, but it was old. She said 1 o'clock. So you take one step, and on and on and on. You get as close as you can to her. And she said 12 o'clock, and she grab you, and it's your turn. And we just made up games outside and keep ourselves busy. And I be trying to teach my kids. They're like, "You're so corny." I got me a cell phone. I ain't got time for that.
What is it? Is it hand games that the girls used to play? I think we started calling it pity pat. Where those are hand games, right?
It's made me watch
Right.
until we I do that with my granddaughter.
ESPN did a special on this and says that those hand games go back to Africa.
Yes,
that was something that we had brought with us from Africa. And so you see people in an object, and primarily girls, I mean, because it was like, and you speed up, right? That's the whole thing. You're just doing it how quickly you could do it. But watch those girls do those hand games. It was amazing, man.
Mm-hmm. And I love Double Dutch.
Yeah.
And they have those contests. I miss seeing Double Dutch contests. And, I think, and then they do 1-1-1. They go around in circles. They go on their hands and all that. I hope to see that we can have a Double Dutch contest here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think.
And it would be nice if we can bring one to.
Well, they used to have competitions, and I don't know if they still are. I think they might be, but they used to have competitions where, people come from all over the country.
Do you think they can? Do they have one here in Milwaukee for the Juneteenth? Oh my, that would be awesome.
Nice at Juneteenth. Yep. Here's the problem, though. For some of the older sisters, I know at our church picnics at Metropolitan, we used to have, they'd always bring out they do double Dutch. And to watch some of these older sisters, and you're trying to tell them, you'll be all right today, but you won't be walking tomorrow.
I'm like that today.
You gonna be, oh man, you all of you got the feet going, but tomorrow you'll be in a coma.
No, I'm gonna give my walker and walk around that block.
I appreciate you, dear.
I love y'all. Bye bye.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to tell you about recess. I went to a private church school in the early 50s, and we used to play a game. It may have a different name now, but it was no man stand. So the bullies would stand in the middle, and the non-bullies like myself would hug the wall. And what you would do was run out and from one side to the other without getting beat up. If you was a man, you would get out in the middle and hang with them. That's just one thing. Then they got some boxing gloves, and they were boxing out there. This school went from the 1st to the 10th grade.
Okay.
I went to the public schools in 10th grade. They had some boxing gloves and some. There was a guy out there whooping everybody in the boxing gloves. So the principal's name was Professor Chandler. So this dude was whooping everybody out there. So he sent somebody in the school and asked the principal to come out and box. And the girls in the class, this was upper class, were laughing at the principal. So he had to go out there and showed that he was a man. He was a Marine too, ex-Marine. So he came out and he made a speech. I was in the Army. I was in the Marines.
Oh, yeah.
And I can only deal with how I was taught to deal with the enemy in war. And he made that speech, and that was all. That was interesting.
Well, someone just texted me, say, great morning. It is hand games, that game that you see primarily girls playing, but I know guys do it. We dap now. I mean, that whole dap done got so elaborate. You watch like these guys, dapping each other. But and dapping, I thought that was something started in the 60s. I know the brothers coming back from Nam had daps. And that dap is just, how you greet each other, plop, 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 plop. So yeah, it's and I think Kari folks are still dapping today, right? Yeah, they're still dapping today. So yeah, how you go and you see the guys when they're being introduced and they got all the different things with the hands. Yeah, that's dapping. All right, Dr. Ward.
Thank you, Doctor.
I appreciate
Reverend
you, sir.
Doctor, I'm sorry. And Dr. Debo.
Okay, what is it called? Shake up? Shaking up, yep. And it was just a form of how we greet each other. And I know the different sports teams, you see it where everybody, how they celebrate things, how they greet things. It was real interesting. I love Charles Woodson. I think Charles Woodson is one of the great players ever. And when he was playing for the Packers and the Packers was on that Super Bowl run, they didn't dap. They just shook hands. I think the Brewers were doing that too. They just shake hands, right? Just a firm handshake and keep going. But now it's really elaborate. So, all right. Let me do this. And again, phone lines open. Some come to mind. Someone just pointed out we did play pom-pom. We did it on the concrete. We did it on the ice. Caller, I'm going to get right with you. Well, let me get you now. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, big brother, did anybody mention rock teacher?
What was it?
Rock teacher. Remember, you sit on the steps and you work your way up or work your way down? The rock teacher. She put her hands behind her back, put the rocks in her hand.
Okay.
You crisscross when you pick them out.
No.
Then, you don't remember rock teacher?
That's a good
Okay, fine. Chinese chase was another version of hide and go get it, Michelle, if she's still around.
Okay.
That's what Chinese chase was. Now, what was the game when you played the mama get the switch? The mama would say, when I come back, you get the dishes. You wash the dishes. You you clean the floor, you mop the floor. And you can't remember that?
That wasn't a game. That was life.
No, that was
life.
But
when I get back here, these floors
too.
better be mopped. These dishes better be washed. That was life. I don't know. They played a game.
I think you're talking about the game called House.
Pom-Pom 1 is with
it's
one
called
hand,
House,
and then Pom-Pom 2 is with 2 hands. Right.
Meech.
Yeah, I mean, I had a flashback for me.
I think you're talking about
I can't believe you don't
played
remember
House.
Huh?
You talking about when you played House?
No, this wasn't playing House. This was a game. I forgot what.
Yeah, it was called Playing House.
That red light, green light stuff. But anyway, hey, Debo, did you get that email?
Got it, brother.
Okay, well, you can jump on that. I'll see you when I get back from Chicago.
Okay.
I'll be back a little bit later on the day.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Let me do this. They need to read this because I wanted my thoughts to be clear. Hopefully they are. On yesterday's program, I went on a rant about white Jesus and how white Jesus isn't coming to save black people. For the sake of clarity, my rant was and is a rejection of white supremacy and all its vestiges. The systemic oppression and subjugation of people of color throughout the world is based on white supremacy. I reject any iconographic images that say that those of European descent used to maintain their position of power and privilege. Because of the influence of Christianity in our community and the power of images primarily that Jesus was a European, which is not historically accurate, and for some, the worship of an inaccurate depiction of Jesus leads to bad behavior. The images we see every day influence how we view the world. The white man, so if we worship the white man, we're talking about white Jesus, and we have been taught to obey the master who looks like the image of white Jesus, then you can see we need to reject. No, hold on. Is this rejection of the Christian religion? No. It's a call for us to be more mindful that we, descendants of enslaved African peoples, identify any objects, any teaching or messaging that elevates any person based on complexion to a superior position while using that position to marginalize and subjugate others. The salvation of our people will require that in part we do what Jesus taught. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:32. The truth is, Jesus wasn't a white man. All right. So that's what precipitates that rant. The more and more I study not just the history of the world, the history of this country, but certainly the formation of Christianity and other religions. I think we need to be careful that we not support white supremacy in any of its manifestations. And so that's what that was. And so it bothers me sometimes. I still go into black churches with images of white Jesus up on the wall. People say, well, it's Jesus. I think you need to be a little bit mindful of not just the subliminal messaging, but the outward messaging when it comes to that you have a white male, and that you, and in our language, we're not very precise in our worship language. And so people who might be Trinitarians, those are people who believe Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, will conflate and use things. I even listen to gospel music sometimes, and I'm kind of going, you might want to do a little bit more etymology when it comes to what you're using, and to be mindful of it. I know Pastor Joy here at St. Mark's Church talked about her grandmother, and she says her grandmother had a problem with Paul, and so she would not basically read the epistles of Paul. Because of Paul was a victim of his environment, and certainly the marginalization and subjugation of women. I would have to say, I don't want to say endorsement of enslavement, but certainly there was no pushing back on enslavement. As a matter of fact, there is the scripture that says, slaves, obey your master. And you keep reading, it says, and serve your master as if you were serving God. Got a problem with that. Got a real problem with that. So that's why from time to time, when you hear me talking about white Jesus, I am not talking about the historic Jesus, because the historic Jesus was not white. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
I'm gonna leave that alone because me and you go back and forth about that all the time. Because
You
you
don't
never
believe
read
Jesus was white, do you?
No, heck
Okay,
no, man. I'm
that's
talking about the scripture that you use. You never fully read about because it's been slaves throughout history in the Bible. Even God.
But I
condoned
just, but
it,
I'm, I know I'm gonna disagree. I disagree with the
but it-
Bible on this one. I ain't worried about going to hell on this one. I disagree with the
I'm not
Bible.
saying that, Key.
It was wrong.
But I'm just saying you never read fully through them where it says that you're not supposed to abuse your slaves. You always stop on that for some reason.
No.
Because
You know
Paul
why,
does
George?
talk
Can I say
about-
this quickly? Because
Paul
you said I
always
cut
talks
you
about
off. Hold
that you're
on.
not supposed to.
You shouldn't have slaves. That's where we should be operating from. You should not have slaves. I don't believe I don't accept
Keith.
slavery.
Keith, I do agree with that. I'm just saying it's in the Bible from the beginning of time, Keith. That's all I'm saying, Keith.
Well, I
And it
disagree
says
with the
that
Bible
you're
on
not
that one.
You're not supposed to abuse your slaves. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that you never fully read through it. I don't think anybody believes in slavery, Keith. But it's in the word, and that's all I'm saying is that you always, for some reason, stop there. You never fully read through it. It's just like when some people read that kids obey your parents, right?
Right.
But then they don't go to the part where we're not supposed to
Provoke your kids to rap.
provoke our kids. We or we say women obey your husbands, but we don't go to the part where it says and we're supposed to treat them like we treat the church, and we're supposed to treat. See, we have a point of stopping at certain points because we want to use those just like the white man did to use the Bible for their reasoning, but that's not what I call for. Why did that work on us and it doesn't work on these kids today? I'm gonna send you to Wales and this kind of stuff. Why does that work on kids today and it worked on us?
Because you have kids now who have probably seen more people go to prison. We didn't see people necessarily. I had an uncle who went to prison, but when you think about certainly when it came to the drug trade and that filtered down to younger people, I think that's probably why. I mean, I think we have more black kids who are introduced to the criminal justice system at a younger age, and they're probably
because they glorify it.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage for a lot of black males.
Keith, I'm 66 years old. I watched this movie. You watch a lot of Netflix, right?
Yep.
Regina King's got this new movie out that she directed and produced. It's called A Fallen Man. Have you watched that yet?
Not yet.
I don't get it. That's a scary place to me. Stuff that happens in there is just absolutely terrifying to me. And I said, if I watch it, I'll be like, thank you, Lord. thank you, God. But you were talking about old stuff, and I don't know if anybody mentioned this. You know what I like more than yo-yos back in the day? I love spinning tops.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Oh, somebody did bring it up.
Yeah. How we decorated them, how you sharpened the tip on them.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing. It was a sport, man. I mean,
man, Keith, I used to love that, and I'm surprised that they never brought that back. Remember how you could just throw it up in the air, just take it and throw it up in the air and wait for it to come down, or you tried to get it to jump on top of somebody's?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying, that you can look at the top of mine, it'd have all kind of chips on it, because people didn't hit the top.
And you and Tyrone had a experience, you said, right? I don't know. I was a little boy, right? And you know what a hobo stick is, right?
Yeah, when you put your little bag, you wrap up your stuff and put it on the pole, right? Because you're leaving.
Right. Well, I must have got mad at my mama and told her I didn't love her no more, right? She made me a little hobo stick and set me out on the front porch. My granny ended up coming picking me up, but my mama said she was just laughing at me because she said I was crying and looking back at the door. But my mama had put me out on the porch, and then my granny came and picked me up. So, the things that our parents did, and that's just funny. That must have just been a thing back in our parents' day, where they threatened you with that kind of stuff to scare the Jesus out of you. but I just called because I was like, that stuff don't faze these kids today.
No.
I was fussing at my grandson one day, and I was like, I'm gonna put you out this car. He said, okay, I'll walk real fast home.
Really?
It didn't faze him at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, these kids today,
Did
man.
you put them out the car?
Heck no, man. You know,
Okay, well, that's probably what he was banking on, that you wasn't going to do it. You know,
Chief, I won't even let him walk around to the corner store. I wonder if I baby him too much. I won't even let him walk around to the corner store. So it's so crazy out here today, man.
You know, that reminds me of the scene in Poetic Justice when Janet Jackson and Tupac was going back and forth, and she got mad and got out the car. He said, "Blank her." He kept on going, had to talk her back to go back to get her, right?
But if you get a chance, watch a Fallen Man. It's I like Regina King be doing her thing. If you get a chance, watch it.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to be clear. I just because it's in the Bible don't make it right. I know that's controversial for some folks, but I'm at the point in my life where I've seen the residual effects of enslavement and the impact that it's had. And let me just, be kind of just looking at us as descendants of African slaves. There's nothing in my mind good about enslavement. And if people say, well, that, and I agree with George, the Bible has been used to justify a lot of aberrant behavior. But I do not have to accept that slavery is right. The abuse of other human beings is not right. To take away a human being's freedom, to take away a human being's humanity is not right. And those are things that enslavement does. And so let's push back on that. You're listening to Community Voice. Caller, I see you. I want you to hang on. We're going to grab you right after the break. We'll be right back.
Where do grown-ups go in the water park capital of the world? Well, go to a water park. You'll find one nearly everywhere you go. Go relax in a cabana. Go golfing. Going for a nice dinner? Oh, go for the special. Go for the weekend. Heck, why not go for the whole week? Go to a show. Go shopping. Go tour a winery. Wow, we're really on the go. Say, I could go for a beer. Need a day at the spa? Go for it. Wisconsin Dells. It's go time. Plan your grown-up getaway at wisdells.com.
Urban Vibes, community conversation where we all have a seat at the table. Join the conversation every first Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me, Karen Dotson, from the All of Us Research Program at the Medical College of Wisconsin. We will discuss health issues affecting Black and Brown communities and share how health research can help find solutions in the future. Learn from special guests each month, and please join us at the table for real conversation every first Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. at 860 WNOV and 106.5 FM.
Hey, Milwaukee, join me, Tavis Smiley, from my show Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM, the voice of the community.
Listen, everybody. Listen up good now. Listen, everybody. Listen up good now.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 in Milwaukee. community voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice Caller. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you for welcoming. Hey, all you beautiful black souls out there, you ugly ones too, because y'all can be beautiful one day. Hey, Mr. Parris, I'm stacking things up on you, man, when you be speaking and saying things, and I'm going to come at you one day and D you up on the court. It ain't nothing personal. It's just the way you be open and recklessly talking, and you be flipping, and you don't stand on what you be talking about. But that ain't the point I called about. But I will come D you up on that court one day, all right? Just let that be known. It ain't nothing. You be like, oh, why you hating on me? Okay, the number two, I be tripping. I can't understand how y'all talk about how y'all did the things with your mother, and your mother had to pull out extension cords, catch you doing things like that out of order. I never seen my mother act like that. But maybe it's because I had a father that I would never do none of those things that y'all thought y'all could do with a mother that would bring those. Y'all have more in conversation with other people, because I see I stand solo because I had a father. And then when I hear y'all speak about the things y'all mother did or the things y'all did with your mothers, but y'all praise them so much and laugh about the beatings and the whoopings, I can't see that. I guess I was raised in a different type of home with parents or a father. So now I have to speak because I don't hear being spoke of being raised with a father. And then those who didn't have fathers, I see they don't want to hear me. They don't listen to me. They only talk about their mothers. But if you talk about your mother so much, I don't hear nobody speaking about a father. And then I'm a father and I do things as a father, and I don't hear other men speaking of fathers. That let me know a lot of things about, I'll keep that to myself. But I want to say, this is Father's Day coming up. I don't want to hear nobody say, oh, my mama was my mother, my father. You don't hear no father saying that. And then that Papa got a brand new bag. Is that the best thing we can have, a representation for fathers? Not compared to the way y'all do the mothers. I'm just looking at it from a father's point of view of how we respect fathers. We don't. I hear how y'all talk about it, how you speak on us, and then how you speak about mothers and exclude fathers like they're not part of it. But that may be true. A lot of these men that have been raised didn't have fathers in their home, don't know how to be a father, never was taught to be a father, never was taught and showed how to raise a family. I see that now, and I feel like I'm lonely, because when I talk to other brothers that I expect to be men and have that men's stability in them, I see they have the women's stability in them. They don't look at it. My father raised me to take care of his house when he was gone. That's how I learned to take care of a home now that I have with my family, my wife, my sons, my kids. I don't see that in other families. I don't see a man in the front. I don't see a man representation. I don't see a man being respected for what he does. But I hear y'all respect women whooping your bad, but because y'all would do things that you would never do if you had a father.
All right, man. Let me say this. I know some dudes had fathers and they were stuck on stupid. All right. It was something my mother said to me, and I got to go on what I had. I remember asking my mother, I said, hey, Mom, you and my dad stayed together. What do you think? And she said something to me. She said, you probably wouldn't have turned out to be the person that you are today. It is what it is. Just because you got a male in the home don't mean he's a father. It doesn't mean. And here's something you don't hear me do, because I work with fathers. I don't vilify fathers. I don't run fathers down. I can only speak in a personal experience based on being in a home that a woman had to raise 3 kids. And the same values that a man would have taught, my mama taught, right? Because she taught us responsibility. She taught us to be the best that you can be. So whether that's a dad or a mom, it's called parenting. So no, I'm not down on Dudes out now, if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, that's a different conversation. But in our programs, we don't use terms like deadbeat dads, right? What we're saying is you're a dad now, but everybody can be a better dad. Everybody can be a better husband. Everybody can be a better wife. The question is, if you love your kids, do you want to put yourself in the best position to raise your kids? Okay? Because the kids didn't ask to be here. I mean, so when I hear that, ain't nobody running down dudes. I mean, that ain't even my thing, man.
I thought it was rather petty to try to pick out the song that we chose in the promo. It Papa's got a brand new bag. What the problem is? What the problem is? I mean, what makes you pick that particular portion of the promo out? Did you speak to the level of the prizes, the detailed car wash, the massage therapist, private physical therapist? I mean, all of these different things that we're giving to fathers
is comparable to our Mother's Day.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's better because they didn't get the full portering of your car, the detailing.
Oh, okay.
That women didn't get that. Okay. So we didn't, shorten the fathers up any. Yeah, I took that personal since I put the promotion together along with Doug Kelly here. So, I mean, we're going to worry about what the song say. Papa got a brand new bag. It was a hook. It's just something to say, hey, call right now.
That's what I'm looking at.
Popular song. Everybody know it. What does it mean?
Right.
Okay.
And let me say this. And there's an old saying that if you throw a rock in a dark room, the only dog that hollers is the one that got hit.
That hit dog.
And we know that we have a fraught history. There's a lot that goes into the dynamics in Black families. That's why when Michelle was talking about Byron Donald, and I was telling Michelle, I watched his interview yesterday with Abby Phillips, and Abby Phillips fact-checked this dude the whole piece, because the talking piece was that there were Black men walking away from their families during Jim Crow. When you hear that song, Papa was a Rolling Stone, that song was done in the 60s. That's based on experience, just like rappers talking about what they see in the hood. That was a lot of people's life experience. I was watching the documentary of Wu-Tang Clan. It was talking about one of the members. He said he was the only dude on the block that had a daddy in the home, right?
Do you know how many kids in my neighborhood that I'm still Mr. Debo to, that I was the only father image they had?
Right.
Because my kids were lucky enough to have, but I didn't treat them any different or look at their mothers any different or whatever. We were a community.
Right. Well, a friend of mine said that she lived on a block full of juniors and wasn't a daddy on the block.
Oops.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
And listen, we laughing about our childhoods and what have you. I mean, it wasn't humorous then because we lived it.
Oh.
But I mean, to be able to look back on it now, I think it made me the person I am today. So I don't take none of it back. I told the story. I didn't tell it today, but y'all, none of you had the mother I had. She called herself gonna try something new and whoop me and put me down between her legs and hold me with her knees. Man, we was in the kitchen. You remember them little canisters? It was flour and grease and fried meat grease everywhere, man. Because I wasn't gonna stay down there. But again, a single Black mother trying to figure out how to raise this man that she wants me to be.
Right. Let me shout out Brother Nate Luckett, the good folks there at the New Pitch Mortuary. Good morning, y'all. No, I mean, I think I'm one of my favorite heroes in the Bible is Joseph. I love Joseph because, one, Joseph loved Mary enough that he was going to cover her public shame.
Mm-hmm.
And then to raise her son as his son.
Mm-hmm.
There are men who get out there every day and they will raise their stepchildren like their children. They don't differentiate. You can talk to my wife about that, right? So there are men who step up every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this to young brothers because, they're going to be out there. They're going to be competitive. If you have a situation where you have a little Keith and now you got a new girlfriend and your new girlfriend don't want you bringing little Keith around, or your girlfriend is saying, don't take care of little Keith.
And she ain't the woman
she
for you.
ain't the woman for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because the bottom line is now, even though I might have a love relationship, I have a responsibility, and that responsibility is that child. I tell dudes, just let your nouns, line up with your verbs. And I shouldn't be, and I hope I'm not being too negative, but here you done put all your investment in a car, and you done kit your car all up, and your kids are living in poverty. There's something wrong with that picture. Okay, and I understand I work for a very controversial agency. They don't, but here's the point. Kids got to be taken care of. And so, I don't, it ain't about her. It ain't about him. It's really about those kids. And we lose all that. We're down at the school board. We talk about everything but the kids. Teachers pay, don't like the superintendent, which group is trying to run the school board, and the kids are failing. They're the collateral damage of all of the nonsense that adults do. So, and thank God I was in a home with a mother who made a decision. There were mothers who walked away from their kids. Thank God I had one who said, you know what? I got them here. I'm going to do the best I can for them. And so, I'm going to celebrate that. I'm going to celebrate that because, like you said, and maybe you don't think I'm much of a man, but I can only imagine what I would have been like had I not had the person who was my mom. So if you got
never been to the penitentiary, I got a lot of things I can thank my mother for.
Right.
You understand? And it's no disrespect towards my father, but it is what it is.
Right.
How much of an impact did he play in the person I am? Not much.
Chris Rock said something. He said, I take care of my kids. They don't be bragging about what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You're supposed to take care of your kids. Absolutely. You made them.
Absolutely.
So no, it's like I was talking to a young lady, and she was a little disappointed she wasn't disappointed. She was angry that she didn't get a position. And so she was going on, and there was a technical reason why she didn't get it, not based on her ability. And she finally said to me, she said, and I work hard. I said, we pay you to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
I work, we pay you to work. What? But I can't brag about what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it kind of gets back to the discussion we're having about with Byron Donald. He was making the argument that it was the great society that destroyed black families. And he was alluding to the fact that we were better, right, in segregation. That's what he's trying to say, that, we had intact families. Some of those families was dysfunctional. The dude was in the home, or she was in the home, and maybe they shouldn't have been in the home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nostalgic support of, again, getting back to this whole idea, because it always, Michelle, gets back to enslavement.
Keith, let me ask you a question. To whose benefit would it be for you to stay in the home with this woman? Y'all don't get along. You don't really like each other, but we gonna stay together for the sake of the kids. What environment does that set? Because at the end of the day, she miserable, you miserable. It doesn't make sense to me.
Can you make an accommodation? Can you? I'll never forget my goddaughter asking one day. I don't know if she asked me or she asked Rhonda. She said, "God, mommy, do you and Poppy fight?" And she go, "Yeah, we just try not to do it around you, because when you ain't here, we moving furniture."
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing was, if they see us do this, then this is the way that now. Remember, we talked about how we be tripping. They didn't need to kill him. You taught him how to clown at home, and guess what? He ran up with somebody, one down with the clowning.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to take some responsibility of what we're sending into the world based on what the kids see. I know that's a tough one. I remember in high school, because, Catholics really had to think about divorce.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you hear like these kids, we started off, and then you hear, oh, my mom and dad are getting a divorce after all these years. Well, because kids are grown. Right. And that's that whole thing about marriage now, where marriage is primarily for children. Okay. That's why people got married, to build the nest, to take care of children. Women's rights have expanded since we created what is marriage. So in America, now you have women who on paper are equal to men legally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you have the other piece of it, where women now are not as financially dependent on men. And you have, and this is not just in our community, in other communities, where women are making as much or more than the men. That's a real issue for some white men that they have a wife who's making more money than them, right? So there's all these changes that we have. And so where in the past a woman couldn't, if she wanted a divorce, she's in an abusive situation, she wanted to leave, materially she couldn't. You know, she starved. That was happening during the time of Jesus when he would talk about his prohibition on divorce. It had everything to do with guys get tired of her, right? I want a new model. He sent her out. It ain't like she can go get a job. So now she's dependent. So what she's going to do? Either she's going to find herself in an abusive relationship or she's going to prostitute because she got to eat. Her kids got to eat. So there is that whole practical thing, but it gets complicated because, you know, one of the reasons why you got married because you loved her so much. I love that woman. Call her, welcome to the program.
Wow. Good morning, Mr. Parris. Thank you for taking my call.
Brother Christopher.
Assalamu alaikum to you all. And I was wondering when you were going to inhale to exhale. Listening, the primary reason the Prophet Muhammad was asked concerning prayers, because there was a point, to my understanding, that the 5 times a day prayer was not originally the plan. There were supposed to be more prayers. So when it comes to the acknowledgement of honor, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was asked, after God, who do you honor the most? And he replied, your mother. And I think to the extent at least 5 or 7 times, because the woman is the route by which change takes place. When you teach a man, you teach an individual. When you teach a woman, you teach a nation. That's why greatness occurs through the birth channel of women. And biochemically speaking or physiologically speaking, those components play a part as well. Mr. Parris, you spoke about Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, of course, they're not the first people.
I never
they're
spoke
the
about.
first.
Did I?
No, not today.
Oh,
that was
yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
It's not an attack. I concur. Adam and Eve, as we are taught in the Nation of Islam, they are the first Caucasian family, because in the Genesis, God said, let us make a man in our image and after our likeness. So the question becomes, who is the us and our? US-O-U-R. With regard to the scripture.
Let me ask you a question, bro.
Yes, sir.
Isn't the tenor and tone of, we say, the Bible, sacred scripture, Christian, Jewish sacred scripture is written in the male tense?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Allah created himself out of nothingness. That's why Black lives matter, because out of black matter comes life. Here's the last thing I wanted to say. You were talking about the scripture and the integrity thereof. We have to take into consideration, especially with regard to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have taught and teaches, and they have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has reiterated this for decades, that the Bible is written in a backwards way, whereas people misperceive it. 75% of the Bible is prophetic, while 25% of it is historic. What they have done is made the historic the 25%, they made it prophetic, and made the 75%, which is prophetic, historic. That's why our people look to the sky to see if they can stand on a cloud. You understand?
All right, man.
Thank you very much.
All right. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hang on, Key. I had to take you off speaker. I just wanted to come on and kind of, the reason why I brought that up about my mom is because of what you, Tyrone, said. My mom and dad still together. They raised us with integrity, and we were terrified of my dad. My dad loved us, But my dad, you know how back in the day, wait till your daddy get home.
Mm-hmm.
My dad always tell us, he said, me and your mama always had an agreement. Your mama didn't have to work. I would take care of the family. Now, he took care of his business. He taught us how to do stuff like men supposed to do, like the last caller said. But my mama ran the house. When we came home from school, you got out of your school clothes. She gave us a snack, and you did your homework. If your homework wasn't done, it wasn't no going outside playing. Unless your homework was done, then it was dinner time, and then it was bedtime if you get to watch a little TV. So we did have parents in our home. We had a dad. Not just because I'm married now. I don't know this thing that goes back between, and what's his name? I forget, and I don't mean no disrespect. My mind is just messing with me right now. But what's the young man's name that goes back and forth with you all the time?
George?
No, this is George you talking to. No, I'm talking about the other guy, that you go back and forth with.
I go back and forth with. Oh, that's Dino, man.
That's Dino. What is it?
Dino.
Dino, yeah, and I notice y'all go back and forth a little bit, but everybody's house is a little different, and it is what it is when you get raised. But love my dad with all my heart, with everything in me, and no family is perfect. My mom, and like you said, I tell Brenda, because Brenda said, "Oh, I never see my grandmama and my granddaddy fight." I said they didn't let you see it.
Right.
They didn't let you see it because two people. I don't care if it's you by yourself. Some days you ain't gonna like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the two people living in the same household, it ain't gonna be hunky-dory all the time. You're gonna have your disagreements.
Right.
The thing is try and not let your kids see that.
And I think it is, we so romanticize marriage. It's a whole industry. We in marriage month now, right? June. And they sell the fantasy. But quickly, the reality pushes up against the fantasy, right? And so now the question is, when you hear people talking about, I love you, what kind of love we're talking about now? Because now we're talking about you living and sharing a space with another human being. I got the way I feel the world should be. You got the way you feel the world should be, right? And so it gets more and because now in Wisconsin, men and women share the same property rights in a marriage, you got a different animal than during the time of Jesus. I'm just saying maybe even in the early 19th or 20th century in terms of where women are. So we have to, equate. I know you were mentioning about how Ephesians say, men should treat their wives. That pushes up against a reality that we're dealing with today, because in our world, men and women technically are equal. They're on the same plane.
Well,
so
that's what your woman supposed to be by. Your woman ain't supposed to walk in front of you, and she's supposed to walk in back of you. Y'all supposed to walk side by side. Y'all a team.
Right.
That's the way that's the way I look at it.
And if you want to get Rhonda to laughing, ask her about head of household. You want to get her, you want to get a real good chuckle out of her, ask her about that. And because
I want to say one more thing, because you had touched on something earlier. A lot of people don't know, and my son ain't ashamed to say this. My oldest son, he's not my blood son, but I raised him since he was 6 months old. That's my son.
Right.
That's my son.
Right.
And I dare anybody to claim me. He called me daddy because I raised him since he was 6 months old, where another man didn't.
Right.
That's my son.
And that's why I love Joseph so much, that because he had an option. He could have said, you know what? I don't know. I know you said it was the Holy Spirit. I don't know who it was. All I know is it ain't mine. Right. And he had, by every right, the law said he could put her away quiet. And that's what he was going to do. But
Keith never treated him any different.
You don't.
He was here first. The other three came behind him. He was there first. And Brenda said, you know what, Greg, what really attracted me to you? She said, you had 2 kids. And if you can't get down with that, you can't be with me.
Well, that's probably why we never had a stepfather, because my mother was very careful who she brought around us. And
my kids came first.
Yeah, and that was her whole thing, and you can get and thank God that God, look at Grace, positioned her where she wasn't in a a real dependent need, because in desperation, people materially will make a decision. And at that time, it seems like the best decision materially that you're making. But then, yeah, he can provide you all these things materially, but this Negro is crazy. Your life is going to be crazy.
Let me just say this. I'm going to get off. No parents are perfect. My parents weren't perfect.
No.
I wasn't perfect. I look back on things and I say, I probably could have did that a little different. But like I tell my mom and my dad when they said, I'm like, man, y'all did the best y'all can with what y'all had. I love you.
And
don't ever think that you didn't raise no good. I love you. Especially when you start to get older, you look back, you say, my son told me, he said, you know, Pop, some of that stuff you was trying to tell me, I understand now.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't understand it then, but I understand now. He said, so stop tripping. I love you, Pops. And I love my mama and I love my daddy. When Father's Day come around, when Mama's Day come around, they both get it treated like the kings and queens that they are.
And not having, having a father absent home, Father's Day is always a little problematic for me. But I understand it's a holiday that was created like Mother's Day.
Well, Keith, your dad was taken out of your life, right?
No.
I thought you said your father was killed.
He was, but my mother and father was divorced. So
he was taken out of your life because he was murdered, right?
Yeah. But my mom and him got divorced when I was like 2. And
was he in your life at all?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Is that because he didn't want to, or she didn't let him?
I think it was.
I mean, I don't mean to be nosy. But
I think it's something I heard my mother say. No, she was really in her feelings, and the crazy thing was his family loved my mother. Oh man, they loved my mother, and she loved them. But there was some anger there, and as an adult now, I understand it. Right, I understand how in adult relationships you can go from love to hate real quickly, and the hate is as strong as the love.
Yeah,
based on the
really
breakup.
Understood that how you can love somebody and now y'all enemies.
Yep. You don't. You don't understand it?
We all got to make it in this world the best way we can.
Yeah, well, I understand it clearly now. So I and that's why even now, I mean, I give my mother a whole lot of passes, right? Because as an adult, I understand what kind of goes into some of the adult behavior. And I think as kids, you idolize your parents, you want them to be, and then you find out that they're human, right? And sometimes that can be real jarring that, oh man, my mom and dad, they're really like human beings. Yeah, you're a human being.
And if my man never got in trouble, he never did, man, God bless you for that. Right. God, because like I said, we were scared of our dad. We knew he loved, but we were scared of him. And we still did.
I was going to ask you, did it stop you from getting in trouble?
Nope.
I told somebody
check this out. Check this out. We lived right across the street from Mesmer High School.
Okay.
We was the second black family over there, so what number of white kids over there.
Right.
So they used to do this thing called ding dong knock. You know what that is?
Oh, ding dong knock and then run away?
Right.
Yeah.
But they turned it up. They threw eggs at you.
Ooh.
So my dumb butt got out there with them and did it with them, right? So the police got after us and they got me. And I was telling them, don't take me home. Take me with you. Because I knew what was going to happen when my daddy got his hands on me.
Don't take me home.
Right. I want to go to jail. Don't take me home. But the point is that, we still did knucklehead stuff.
And the worst thing you could have parked in front of your house was a squad car or a social worker car. Those are the worst things to be parked in front of your house, right? I mean, just not to say that we didn't have stuff on that the cops should have been called. There's a couple of weapons I got, cops should have been called. I just couldn't get to the phone. Welcome to the program. I couldn't walk. Call and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning, yes, sir.
I'm going to do a little bragging on myself today. I adopted a child at 8 months. He's 40, almost 50 years old now. So can't say that I didn't try to do something for the people who had no fathers. And then these issues you see regularly where they say the dad is no good and all of that. the bottom line is if the children love their daddy and the daddy is doing anything with them, leave them alone with that.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, I have many students, 56 years old now, call me daddy. One student named forget her name, but she told me, Mr. Ward, you know you the daddy for the whole school. And I was working the cafeteria one day at Hartford Avenue, and one of the students was teasing another student, that's your daddy. The person they were talking to didn't say, no, he's not. So I went over to the table and told him, you wish I was your daddy too. And I told my son, you trying to out daddy your daddy? He said, no, you set the bar. And that was very flattering to me.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. And I think about my brother, who turned out to be a great dad. In spite of what it was and what was not. I think it's a choice. I work with a fatherhood program, and we do a whole curriculum. And it's something that I heard Apostle Buck say many, many years ago. He said, I went to a training over at UWM on parenting. He said, I went home and apologized to my kids. He said, you know what? I was making all kinds of mistakes. He said, no, daddy, you good daddy. There is the ideal. There are no perfect daddies. There are no perfect mamas, right? They are human beings. You hope that you don't do lasting damage in your moment of humanity, where you don't mess the kid up for life.
I think those earlier kids are the ones that really catch it, like yourself.
I'm the oldest,
And by the time you begin to have more, you kind of learn, mistakes that you made maybe along the way with Keith versus Francine or what have you, So
it was funny.
I think you get better at parenting.
Someone said that first baby, you got them wrapped up, any little thing, they ain't catching anything. By the time that second one came along, that dirt ain't gonna hurt them because you done lived through the experience of that. And again, it is, you're trying, and then you can be the best parent in the world. There is this thing called human choice, that a child, in spite of everything you did, will go out and make some bad choices. So, I got that. Man, if you get, there was a period where I would see dads with their kids. I saw this brother yesterday, and he was getting across the street with his daughter, and he was holding her because she's so little, and he's kissing her all across the street. We need to encourage that, right? As much as it is, but it gets real complicated. Then it gets into some other things, and that gets complicated. Caller, welcome to the program.
Mr. Parris.
Yes, sir.
I called back because there was something that I also wanted to add that we should take into consideration with regard when it comes to scriptural text. When it has to do with us being enslaved, and that's prophetic when God told Joseph that his seed would be enslaved in a strange land amongst strange people for 400 years. So it's allegorical and it's literal or decisive.
Well, let me ask you a question. Beyond the Quran, beyond the Bible, do you believe enslavement is right or wrong?
It's evil.
Okay.
But see, that's what motivated to call back, to provide some clarification, because I totally agree with you. And that is what substantiates the incarnation of Satan, or one who is possessed of a devilish mind or consumed of devilish mint. Because if you look at another human being and think that they should be, and that they are, beneath you, whereas you should have absolute and complete control over them, it's ridiculous. It's totally insane. The Holy Quran speaks to Allah, saying that he will place a ruler in the earth, one who would be a shedder of blood. The Bible in the book of Revelation speaks of a pale horse and its rider. being death. And these things have to be understood or deciphered from the allegorical or the imaginative perspective, and they have to be logistically understood, whereas we can look out into the world and see what is actually going on. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had a series that is on YouTube. I'm not sure if it still is there, The Time and What Must Be Done. And all of the things that he taught about in concert with his father, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we are witnessing and they are taking place. So all in all, when it comes to slavery, Allah allowed it to see what evil given power would give rise to. Here we are. Heaven is a place on earth, and hell is a state of condition of your life or your mind.
Can I let me say this, and this is why. And I know George.
Should I go now? Permission to be dismissed.
Cat May I?
Thank you.
Did you play Cat May I as a kid?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Cat May I.
All of the games that I've heard you all talk about, but mostly we did as children. We ran and climbed apple trees.
Oh, yeah.
We got on garages and jumped off of them. We did go into abandoned houses because people would tell us that there's a witch that lives in that old abandoned house. So we'd be like, oh, let's go, until the floor fell out. So we knew not to go back there. Then we would go to the train tracks and look into the box cars until somebody said it was a weird man following us. So we didn't go there anymore.
There you go.
We went
But let me say
stuff
this,
like that.
Christopher, and I appreciate this. You know, when I don't know.
Permission to be dismissed.
Yeah, I don't know if.
Thank you.
All right, man. I don't know if anybody volunteers for enslavement. Okay. I don't know anybody in history that's volunteered to be a slave. Usually enslavement was conquered people, right? And then you put the people to work that you conquered. And I don't know if it's small consolation if you're saying to me, you know, master, be kind to your slaves. Hell, I'm still a slave, you know, and again, I don't know any really positive thing that, you know, would go along where slavery was so good that, you know, people want to sign up for it. If our ancestors knew what was going to happen to them after that boat trip, I think a whole lot of them would have been fighting not to get on that boat. And obviously there were people on that boat trying to get off that boat because they killed themselves, threw themselves overboard. So this idea, and it's real interesting because here's the correlation. There are a lot of people who use the Bible. Let's just talk about our textbooks and how they want to change the textbooks to describe enslavement in America, where they take away the brutality, the horror, the inhumanity of the institution and try to call it indentured slaves. Well, here's the thing about indentured slaves. They had a period of time where they worked and they basically could earn their way out of the servitude. For descendants of enslaved African people, that option quickly disappeared, right? It wasn't. When we came here, you're going to be enslaved all of your life. And it was brutal. And because they were applying economic principles, i.e., minimize your cost, in Brazil, what they would do was they worked that enslaved African to death. Literally, he would die. And they go right across the ocean, go right to Mozambique and Angola and get more enslaved Africans and bring them back to work them. You cannot convince me that there's anything good about enslavement. I'm going to stand on that. And if people say, well, it was in the Bible or the Lord allowed it, okay, I don't know. I don't know. We put a whole lot on God that ain't God, right? So when people say that, and so it was in the Bible, it don't make it right. I'm sorry. I know for a whole lot of people, y'all believe everything in the Bible is right. Don't be foolish. I mean, it's not. And if you're a descendant of an enslaved person, you can appreciate, because we're still dealing with the residual effects of that enslavement, just how inhumane that is. And especially in the New Testament, which focuses more on individual humanity. Jesus talks about that. He talks about marginalized people. That's why Samaria was so important in the Jesus narrative, because of how other Jewish people looked down on Samaritans. They were others, right? The word Gentile, I mean, Jews looked at everybody that wasn't Jewish basically as dogs, less than, right? So if we cannot use a sacred text to justify unholy behavior. That is a contradiction. And I know we have been programmed not to question. That's all part of the slave religion, that you don't question. You should question something, especially if your soul is on the line. I think there might be one or two questions one might ask. You don't question God. Show me that in the Bible where it says you don't question God. That does not exist. But if you have a white Jesus who's the master, you don't question white Jesus. You don't question your white master. You do what you're supposed to do. Work for your master as if he is God. Got a problem with that? Sorry. I don't know if this is going to be disqualifying for me for eternal life, but come on, man. And then we're seeing the effects of it, and we're in denial about that. Come on now. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. First thing I want to say, you can question whoever the hell you want, because I know I do. I don't care if you're Jesus. I don't care if you're the Most High, Sarah Khan. If you allow slavery, you're no good. From the ruler to the tulip in my book. Okay? And whether it's the Quran or the Bible, they all got their contradictions. So I don't stand with allowing anything, because those people who allow slavery should have been the person in slavery, and they wasn't. So if a person would allow that, you can't tell me nothing, not even when the toilet flush, nor how I should live my life. So I just wanted to share that. And what I don't understand, why do people got to be told how to think, or what so-and-so said? Tell me what you said, because now I'm going to look at your integrity. I don't want to hear what somebody else has said, because what they eat don't make me sugar, honey, iced tea. But when you talk from your heart, I can respect you more, because you're an independent thinker, not a codependent thinker. That's why all us as black folks is effed up now, because they codependent thinking. They're not independent thinking. That goes for everybody. And I'm going to tell you something. I have problems with Jesus, but he better not come to my house. And if he do, he better call first, just like his daddy sold him into slavery. Now, y'all have a good day.
He said, if Jesus show up, you better.
Did you call?
Call first.
Did you call me? What you doing here?
I ain't got no problem with Jesus, but he better not show up here without calling. I ain't got no problem.
A lot of people feel like, and you are? Oh, Jesus. No, you didn't call me, man. I wasn't looking for you. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. I shouldn't have waste my time earlier on no game show, man. I knew you was gonna say something of some significance, and I wasted my time on a game show. I must be crazy. I'll never do that again. Hey, listen, when you talk about going back to enslavement, remember the children of Israel, once they got out into the wilderness, they said, hey, we had it better back in Egypt.
Some of them.
Man, we should go back to
Some
Egypt,
of them.
because Pharaoh, he said, y'all brought us out here to starve. At least we had bread in Egypt. You see? So people do think like that, Keith. And I have to tell you something, man. When it comes down, my voice is hoarse. I did a lot of hooping Sunday, man. I thought my voice would be cleaned up. I guess I'm getting older.
You preach Sunday?
Yeah, I preach over in Chicago, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I preach by invite only. I deal with a lot of addicts and and players like that. It's a certain group of people that that I fool with, man.
Right.
So,
right. I understand.
Yeah. It's me preaching to the church. I done stood up and got in some church. They
Hey man, get back to the thing, man. Give us your itinerary. I will be at the House of Peace, and then next Monday I'm over at the Firstborn Church. And then, come on, man, nobody want to know your itinerary.
That was good, Debo. That was good. The Negro put me right off my square. Okay, that was
pushing your tapes.
I'm good. I'm back right.
You back right now?
I'm back right, man.
Okay,
yeah,
come on with it. Come on with it.
Okay, so the deal is this here. When it comes down to enslavement, listen, there's been cases, when you talk about indigenous people not being able to purchase themselves, we had a lot of black slavers here in America that are not mentioned in history. Black slavers, man, was prevalent because they could
no, you don't use that adjective.
In being a black slave.
No, don't use that adjective. Prevalent.
In the same environment, because a slave catcher will loot you for your stock, for your land, and put you back in slavery. So most people that bought their freedom to the north, the north had its own problems too, man.
I know, we
want to think that slavery exists, but I don't even like to talk about slavery because it keeps black people stagnated.
Brother Meach.
We ain't gonna make that mistake no more.
Okay.
And we got to make it happen for them.
Well, we ain't gonna make that mistake, but no more.
To work our way and maneuver our way around the oppressor, that this oppression don't take
Brother Meach, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
May I ask you a question? Is enslavement right or wrong?
It depends on who's enslaved and who's doing the enslaved.
What does that mean?
Because it was some slave owners that knew it was wrong.
Most of them, they didn't care. They didn't care.
No,
so my question is,
that knew it was wrong.
My question is enslavement right or wrong?
It's wrong. You know that.
Okay.
It's wrong.
So, I mean, it ain't making me feel no better that you treat me a little bit nicer because, look, I'm a slave. I have no rights. I have less than humanity, 3/5 of a person if you're in the South. I got all that going on if you're an enslaved individual. And I think that when we go up and go like, well, God allows it, I mean, that's putting some on God that we're doing.
I want to put something heavy on you right now, man.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Listen, do you not know if slavery was legal, it'd be a whole bunch of Negroes with slaves right now? You would probably own your own. If you had money right now, you would hire a butler. Would you or would you not?
Probably.
He would be considered an indigenous servant.
What?
A whole bunch of people I be hearing talk. I said, that Negro wish he had a slave. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? But you say something. No,
a slave dream was to get free and own his own slaves and produce his own.
And there were some Africans who were slave holders. But I'm telling you, the over like 98%, 98% of the slave holders were of European descent. I mean that
I agree with you.
So statistically, the two black people that owned slaves compared to the hundreds of thousands of white people who owned slaves. I mean, and we'll do that. I know somebody talked about the indigenous people. Some of them owned slaves. That might have been the case.
Yes, they
but
did.
The overwhelming majority of black people were owned by white people.
Of course, we know that. Remember that movie Django?
Oh,
the only movie that has ever been produced where Negroes conquered a slave owner. Jamie Foxx played his part. And in that movie, he said, man, a black slave was hated more than a white slave.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I understood that because I've read that in history, and you have too. A black slaver, a lot of times, black slavers didn't have the economics to really take care of these slaves.
And can we do a little historical piece on this addendum? And I'm glad you mentioned this, is because many of us who were enslaved, who came here, had been enslaved by other Africans because they had been conquered. Slavery has been going on since
I
we've
hear
had
the
human
music. I'm
beings.
out.
Okay, man, peace. Enslavement. So it was folks who had it because that's what you did. You conquered people. You enslaved the people. Now, most cultures had where, you know what? I think in Judaism, it could be 20 years, 25 years.
I got a bonnet sighting.
Yeah. You basically could be free.
A bonnet sighting. I wish Michelle was
Is
here.
that a remnant of enslavement?
Let's take that break, brother.
You listen to Community Voice. Well, with the last break of the program, we'll be right back.
This moment in Black Music Month was sponsored by the Milwaukee County Office of Equity. African American artists have created and influenced various forms of music, from gospel to rock and roll, removing cultural barriers for millions around the world.
Hi, this is Jermaine Rideout. Did you know aside from James Brown, perhaps no artist was a greater force in the growth of funk music than Sly Stone? Yeah, Sly Stone. Sly and the Family Stone would help push funk and psychedelic soul into mainstream. But it was the group later period or darker, more social conscious music that would prove even more influential, bringing together a variety of genres and diverse musicians to push the boundaries of how popular music could be created.
Looking to do something special for your dad with Father's Day on the horizon? Well, come dive into a sea of flavor at Red Crab and enjoy the Father's Day special. This includes a pound of king crab legs, a half pound of headless shrimp and sausage, 2 potatoes, and 2 corn on the cob for just $82.99. That's right, $82.99. Now until Father's Day. Red Crab is located at 5547 North Lovers Lane Road. For more information, please call 414-429-9574.
The Granville Blues Fest is an annual celebration of blues music held in Granville, a vibrant neighborhood known for its rich cultural heritage and love for the blues. This festival typically spans a weekend, drawing both local enthusiasts and blues aficionados from afar. The event features an impressive lineup of regional and national talented blues musicians and bands, showcasing a diverse range of styles within the genre, from soulful ballads to electrifying guitar solos. Attendees are treated to a dynamic array of performances that capture the essence of the blues. In addition to live music, the Granville Blues offers a variety of activities and attractions to engage visitors of all ages. The festival creates a vibrant and inclusive atmosphere where people from all walks come together to appreciate the power and beauty of the blues. Granville Blues Fest, June 14th through the 16th at Granville Connection, 8633 West Brown Deer Road.
June 15th, the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce presents A Taste of Black Milwaukee featuring men who cook at the Black Chamber, 2900 West Philippe. Kicking off at 11 a.m. with the 23rd Annual Men Who Cook. Come out and celebrate our fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins, and husbands as they show Milwaukee that men can cook. The day before Father's Day. Come sample the goodness and vote for that one that made you go back and ask for another sample. Then 2 to 7:30 p.m. is the second annual Taste of Black Milwaukee. We're all familiar with the Taste of Chicago, where we're putting Milwaukee's Black-owned restaurants on the map. Come sample some of your favorites and discover who's new on the scene. June 15th, 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., A Taste of Black Milwaukee featuring men who cook, 2900 West Philippe. For more details, visit the website, twbcc.com. That's twbcc.com.
Oh, it's your host, Kwabena Etone Nixon. That's right, the host of On the Porch with Kwa. Listen, I'll be out this week, but I guarantee you, I will be back June the 11th, next Tuesday, for more culture, conversations, and community on the Porch with Kwa. Oh, 3 to 5 p.m., 860 a.m. and 106.5 FM.
Hello, I am attorney Coral Plus, and I'm inviting you to join me for a new show here at WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM. You asked the name of the show? It's Money Talks with Attorney Coral, and it'll air each and every Thursday from 11 a.m. till 12 noon. We'll discuss financial literacy and what part Columbia Savings and Loan can play in your journey to financial freedom. Remember to join us each and every Thursday from 11 till noon, right here at 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. You're inside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. And let me do this real quickly, and I can get with the caller real quick. Hold on. There was someone just sent something to me earlier today. They said that they want me to mention a Mr. Brad Smith. He's president and vice chair of Microsoft. He's the guy who is the mover that's building the $3.3 billion Microsoft plant there in Mount Pleasant on land acquired from part of the Foxconn project. He was born in Milwaukee. His father worked at Wisconsin Bell, and he's a graduate of Appleton West High School. And here's an example of a black man getting it done. So thank you for that information. Shout out to Mr. Brad Smith. Folks should have known when Trump came here to support that Foxconn thing that there was something going to be amiss about that.
No, Scott
Walker too.
Yeah, anything he's supporting, you knew.
You knew something, but Donald Trump is the kiss of death when it comes to business. Talk about the USFL, right? He killed the USFL.
Don't forget the men's workshop that's going to be happening.
Let me pull that up.
With Quabanon as the host. Let's hit on that before we get out of here.
Who sent me that email?
Me. I sent you a text.
A text?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I don't have the particulars on it, but as I understand it, Quabanon Nixon, our own Quabanon Nixon, one of our colleagues here will be hosting a panel discussion tomorrow. This was Blacks for Biden and really having a conversation with black men. It's going to be, thank you, sir. It's going to be with Mr. Jamie Harrison. He's the chairman of the Democratic National Committee. It's going to be tomorrow at the Saturday at the North Avenue Market, 5900 West North Avenue, from 2 to 3.
I think it's 2 to 7.
2 to 6. It starts at 2.
There you go.
And so we'll announce it again tomorrow. This is brought to you by the Wisconsin Dems and Black Voters for Biden-Harris.
All right. Thank you, Keith.
All right.
You know what time it is, right? You gonna take this caller right quick to try to squeeze him in?
Can you do it in 30 seconds?
Let's see.
All right. Caller, welcome to the program.
So I got 30 seconds.
Yes, sir.
So I sent you the text: Africans enslaved Africans, Native Americans enslaved Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
What did the Israelites do after they got out? When they captured, they did the same thing, correct?
That's correct.
So that's why, and if you go back, and can't remember if it's Deuteronomy or Leviticus, that's why they set up rules. You're supposed to let them go after 7 years and stuff. So by the time you get to Paul is just telling you this is how you're supposed to treat your slave. And so, yes, is it wrong, Keith? I totally agree with you. I will never disagree with you. Slavery is wrong. But I'm just saying that's the evil in men, and that's why we did it, and that's why it's supposed to be rules to that. And if you go back, I can't remember, like I said, I don't know if it's in Deuteronomy or what did they make up where you can't eat catfish and all that? What book is that? I can't remember right off the top of my head.
Deuteronomy.
It's Deuteronomy?
Yep.
Okay, so all those laws are in there. Are you supposed to
Thank you, George.
let your slaves go in if they want to stay, all that kind of stuff?
Like the Baptist
I
preacher
totally
now.
agree, and I don't want you to get that confused. I don't believe in slavery either. I just want to make myself clear on that.
That was a cogent 30 seconds. Let me thank Michelle, Debo, Carvey. Everybody's been part of callers. We thank you. Everybody's been part of the program this morning. Good Lord, willing, Creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.
Dissension cease.